Hey world, it's your host Marshall, and thanks for tuning into my podcast, runONthoughts. Here we talk about everything and nothing because we are not afraid to be all of ourselves even as we evolve. And that's my thought for my fellow thought thinkers as we unpack our traumas, past hurts, and other BS. Y'all ready? Let's go. Hey, thought thinkers, let's go. And exactly where are we going today? But before we get there, I want to stand in a place of gratitude and thank anyone who has listened one time. I want to thank those of you who have listened from the very beginning and who are on this journey of unpacking and unlearning anything that keeps us from ourselves. I hope you guys had a good week out in the world living a life. That simply means experiencing all of the feels that we feel. I welcome all of you to go to runONthoughts.com or your favorite streaming service and listen, subscribe, and become a thought thinker. What is a thought thinker? A thought thinker is simple. It is someone who listens thoughtfully and who understands that we do not have to take it all in, but we listen, we take what applies to us, and we change our behaviors. We are on a journey through life to become our best selves. Because life is the journey. We are all here having an earthly experience, and we want it to be the best that it can be while we are here. With all of that said, I am excited to discuss today's topic on episode 120, pros and cons. Pros and cons. The weight of standing still. You want to know what's worse than a bad decision? Not making any decision at all. And trust me, I know that we have all been there. I've been there, you've been there, and it's heavy. The weight of standing still is heavy because you feel like life is moving forward real fast, and here you are stuck in a space because you are afraid, or many of the other reasons why you cannot move forward. But I want to start with today's word. Today's word is stagnation, a state of not flowing, growing, or progressing, often associated with inactivity, dullness, or being stuck. Why does that word fit the title, Pros and Cons, the Weight of Standing Still? It fits because the real enemy isn't the wrong decision, guys. The real enemy is the refusal to move at all. That is stagnation. And I don't want us to remain in stagnation because there is so much for us to do. There is so much for us to experience, right? You're not safe because you didn't decide. You're not safe because you didn't decide. You're in stagnation. And guess what, guys? That's a choice also. Doing nothing is a choice. So we are always making choices, and those choices always have pros and cons. Almost everything, in my opinion, has a pro and a con. That's the beauty of life. So many people are trying to make the right decision, but even in the right decision, there will be things about it that you do not like. There will be things about it that are hard, that are heavy. When you make a poor decision, even poor decisions, there are things that we like. Things that we shouldn't do and we do. They come with consequences. But yet, we've made a decision. We don't want to live in a world of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? But we also don't want to live in a world where we are in constant fear of moving, of putting one foot forward, of putting one foot in front of the other foot. There's this inevitable duality of every decision we make. The pros and cons, whether it's changing careers, ending a relationship, starting a relationship, speaking your truth, staying silent. I know so many people who live a life of staying silent and trying to keep the peace and believe that they are helping. And I know that it seems like there are pros, but there are also many cons. Every choice comes with a trade-off. And some of us are not even choosing ourselves in this trade-off. But what happens? What happens when we avoid choosing altogether? Today, I want to explain and explore how the fear of making the wrong decision, the wrong move, often leads to this stagnation, and how that stagnation can quietly become the most dangerous decision of all. I'm quiet, guys, because I've been here. We've all been here. I've often told you guys that I'm afraid of everything, but I have courage. And that courage is doing the things that I am afraid to do, that I have to do, because I know that I want to get to the other side. Right? And this has come up many times in my life. But I want us to unpack the idea that movement, even with risk, is necessary for growth, because sometimes the biggest con isn't making the leap, it's staying exactly where you are. And if I had taken that idea and not made many of the decisions that I made, I would still be broken inside. I would still be struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually. But you have to take the leap. And the leap is not for the world, the leap is for yourself. And I think back to all the times that I was afraid to make a decision. I realized that time keeps moving on, time keeps happening. The world does not stop for us. The world does not stop for us. Life keeps happening. Isn't that the scary part about death? Someone dies and you feel stuck. And yet everything around you keeps moving. The air keeps moving. Life keeps happening. And you are in a state of mourning, trying to figure out if you want to go on. And I know that was a heavy one. So I'm going to get lighter with it. A job decision, a relationship decision. I was in a relationship that I knew I did not want to be in. And I'm talking about early on in my younger years. And I was very afraid of being a single mother. All of the stereotypes scared me. And I didn't want to be a stereotype. Now, as an older woman, I understand that there are stereotypes that are true, but usually they are made to keep people in their place. Because at the end of the day, as I stand before you today, I don't really give a fuck what other people think of me, nor do I care about the shallowness of the stereotypes that other people has placed upon me. And I think I'm going to have a discussion about stereotypes because some of it's the truth. But it's the truth made to make you feel dirty about the truth when the truth is, so what? So what? We are all faced with things that we do not like about ourselves. And some of those things that we do not like about ourselves are things that have been given to us and they are not the truth. And that we have to unpack also. But with those stereotypes, when I was a young girl, I didn't want to be uneducated and Black and a single mother of a Black son. Yeah, I said it. Because of the stereotypes, it feels like it is strikes against you. And so I did not want to be a mother. One, I had no systems in place that were going to show me how to be a mother, so I had that fear. But a situation happened where, because of fear, I did not talk to people, I did not communicate, and here we have a baby. A baby who everybody knows, not I love, will die for, will live for, and that's just what it is. But even that, guys, was a decision that I had to make because I was so mad at the circumstances that I latched on to the idea that I was not and could not love this child. A weekend, I was sitting with myself. I was sitting with my thoughts. And I was like, the weight of not attaching myself to this child is heavy. Because guess what? That is exactly what happens when we do not make decisions. The weight of standing still. It's like something is pressing you down. For some of you, it is something living and residing in your gut. For others, it is sweat. For many, it is you are brain fog. You cannot think. When you are not making a decision, it is like standing still, carrying heavy baggage, but yet you are not going anywhere. So the longer you stand there, the longer the weight gets even heavier. So I decided to love this child. And the second I made that decision, I heard God speak to me. I heard God speak to me. And he told me, do the opposite. You know what you have wanted all along. Just do the opposite of what has been done to you. But on the way, listen. And I haven't been a perfect parent because there's no fucking such thing. And that's another problem. Many of us are out here trying to make decisions that are perfect. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as the perfect decision. In everything you do, there's going to be a pro. In everything you do, there's going to be a con. Even in sin, there's a pro and a con. Maybe more cons. But if you're seeking immediate gratification, doing the wrong thing is right in the moment. The cons come later. But there are always pros and cons. So when I decided to love this child and do the best that I could, at first the best that I could didn't look like much. But the more times you keep moving, the more decisions you will make, the more you realize that sometimes you simply just have to make a decision. Sometimes you simply just have to make a decision for the portal to open up and give you the answer. And sometimes in either decision, even though there are pros and cons, it's not that it's going to work out not for your good. You just had to make a decision so that you can keep moving on life's journey. It's kind of like one of those books where you get to choose the middle or choose the climax or choose the end. Sometimes they all lead to the same destination. But you got to make a decision in order for those feelings of angst to get off of you. So I was going to be in a relationship that I did not want to be in simply because I wanted to take the stereotypes of life off of my life. I wanted my son to have the family that I did not have. But at what cost? And what does that family look like? I am sure if I had made decision to be that family, there would have been many pros and many cons. And I am sure that my decision to not hold on to the idea, the construct of what family is, I am sure that there are pros because I'm a living example of those pros. And I'm sure that there were cons. I had to struggle and I had to double down. I had to work hard. I had to get a second job. I had to go back to school. I had to do without. All for the peace of my soul. So for me, it was a good decision, but it was a good decision with pros. It was a good decision with cons. There are always pros and cons. People say, what if? What if? What if is just the pros and the cons? It may happen. It may not happen, but you don't have no goddamn idea what's going to happen until you do it. When I think about the pros and the cons of the universe, I wanted to go away to school. I thought that even with a baby, I would be able to leave my child and go away to school. That decision did not happen because when I looked at my child, I was like, what the fuck? How do people leave their baby? A new feeling of angst came over me as those who were supposed to love and care for me were not there for me. How could they do that? My system cannot understand. But I've learned I don't have to understand. Everybody has a story to tell, and everybody's story is theirs. Right? My father made mistakes. My father had issues. My mother had issues. Their issues do not belong to me. Was I affected by some of them? Yes, but I get to uninfect myself and deal with the pros and cons of that as well. But I didn't go away to school. I stayed and I was a mom. Are there pros and cons? Yes. I could have been successful sooner. My baby may have had to pay. Everything has pros and cons. When I tell people that in mothering I made no sacrifices, they do not understand. And the reason I made no sacrifices because everything I did for him, I wanted to do. There was no sacrifice because for me, the only choice was him. There was no pro and con. It just was. It is, and that's it. And so when I see people struggle in the feeling of what should they do, they're often holding on to an idea. I didn't have no idea. The idea was motherhood, you and me. That's it. But I know that that's not everyone. I know that there are those who still want to hold on to who they were before this, or who they think they should be, or what they think they should have. I'm just moving with the wind in the decision that I made, and I am going to find the joy and the beauty and the discovery and the pros and get through the cons of it no matter what. See, because when you make the decision, you got to stand 10 toes down in it because we already here. Now, can we make a new decision? Of course. That's the beauty of life also. You can change your motherfucking mind. So many of you don't even realize that you can change your mind. You make a decision, you find out the decision wasn't for you, and you're still standing there stuck in the shit stinking. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why can't you change your mind? That old saying of you made your bed, you're going to lie in it. Get the fuck up, make the bed and leave. You don't have to lie in it. Will there be a new set of pros and cons of changing your mind? Yes. But think about, who are you? Who are you? There's this illusion about making perfect choices. How many times I got to tell you people that there's no such thing as perfection? Right? Avoiding decisions does not protect you. It paralyzes you. That's that feeling that you're having inside. Right? Weigh the pros and cons. I get it. I get it. It can empower you not to lay it, but weigh it. Don't stand in the weight. Weigh it quickly and move on. I'm constantly telling you guys and sharing with you guys who I am, because I want you guys to understand that there is nothing that I am talking about that I have not been through. And I recognize that as a human experience, many of us are having the same things. The universe, God, or whatever you call it, is a funny person with a beautiful spirit. We are having a human experience. There are many similarities to us. And then there's that thing that makes us unique. And sometimes in that uniqueness is where some of us feel fear and afraid and alone. But that beauty is the thing that we are trying to get back to. That beauty, that uniqueness is the thing that you are making the pro and the con for. Stop trying to live a life for others. Excuse me. Stop trying to live a life for other people. I don't want you to make the pros and cons based on what other people think you should do or making other people happy. I want you to think about, who are you? What do you want? It is imperative that you put yourself first. And the reason it is imperative that you put yourself first, because it is equal to putting the mask of oxygen on your face first, because you cannot save anyone before you save yourself. Why is that such a hard concept? It's especially a hard concept for women who have been taught to suffer, who have been taught to serve everyone, that in order to be good, you must serve, you must put all before yourself. I don't know who came up with that, but I am telling you that it is not healthy. Because if you serving everyone and these people give you nothing back in return, who is filling you up so that you can continue to serve? And then you wonder why you're sick. You wonder why you're tired. You wonder why you have nothing, because you have not made a decision. You are standing still and you are letting other people make decisions for you. And that is not what I am talking about. I am telling you to stand 10 toes down and unpacking, unlearning, getting to the rediscovery of who you are, and then and only then making the choice to make the pro and con decisions for yourself. Because only then can you give honestly from that. Not perfectly, honestly. Honestly, every choice has a cost, but it will be honest. There is no perfect option. There are only trade-offs. Understanding that frees you from chasing perfection. I don't want us to chase shit. I want us to stand in the truth of who we are, and not in this system of lies and clouded ideas and foolishness that makes you the worker in the story. I want you to be free. I want you to remember that avoiding making a decision is still a decision. Inaction does not make us feel safe. It just delays consequences and stunts your growth. All of you feeling like life is not moving for you, it's because you are not moving. You got to be the water in your own ocean. You got to know when to wade in the water. You got to know when to go with the tide. You are responsible for you. You got to know that you still have to make a decision. You cannot exist in fear. Some of you think that you're thinking. Fear hides in analysis. What am I going to do over here? What am I going to do over here? What about this? What if? Right? All this thinking it through. It's just fear. You disguising fear as this thinking it through, but it's endless pros and cons list that many of us create, including myself, often. It signals a fear of commitment, not a need for more data. I get it. I need more information. You're just afraid. You're afraid to move in any direction because you don't want to make a bad decision. But like I said at the top, a bad decision, no decision is the bad decision. As you get older, you're going to feel that sense of what you should have just did anyway, and fucking figure it out what was going to happen. But no decision is paralyzing. That's that feeling that you are experiencing. It's that paralyzing feeling of fear, of disappointment. You are disappointed in yourself because you did not make a decision. Progress. Progress requires movement, y'all. And that's it. You got to keep moving. Even small steps forward can create clarity. Remember when I said that once I made a decision to be a mother fully, I didn't have no ideas. I didn't have any instruction on how to do that. But the second I made a decision, the sky opened up and there was God. There was clarity. There was an understanding. There was a blueprint. I have no idea where it came from, but I can tell you guys that when you make a decision, the answers will come. And then there's this momentum. Now I had this momentum. I put my son in a stroller. We walked to the supermarket. I bought a black and white marble notebook. And from that moment, I began journaling. I didn't want to take my frustrations out on him. So I started journaling in order for me to get it out, because I believe that you got to get it all out. Even the bad thoughts, even the thoughts that people believe that you should keep inside. I do not believe that. I believe that you should get it all out, because when you keep it inside, it festers, it grows, and it becomes a real thing. But if you get it out, now you can deal with the reality of the truth. But when you let this darkness exist inside of you, it grows. This is why all of these darkness, this cloud over your head, it is simply because you are living a lie. You are not getting it out. You are standing in stagnation. You are not moving forward. You are existing in fear. You learn by doing. You learn by doing. The more decisions you make, the more skills you will have and the better the decisions you make in the future will be. If you make no decisions, how do you learn what works for you? And that's why it can't be the decisions that other people have made. Because if you do it at a different time, in a different way, at a different level, it is not the same as when they did it or what was for them. You know, this is why you got to spend time with yourself. You got to spend time with yourself. You have to listen to your body. You have to see how your body and your life responds to the decisions that you make. You have to see how your body responds to the decisions that you don't make. The longer you wait, the louder your regret. And that's the motherfucking truth. Stagnation can feel comfortable in the moment, but turns into dissatisfaction over time. Do you want a life unlived? I don't want you to not be able to live. I don't want you to get to the future and feel like you have done nothing. Doing nothing will be the regret. Bad decisions are inevitable, but you will make just as many good decisions, and together, the both of those decisions is a beautiful life lived. Some of you are regretful, but even in the wrong decision, it can lead you to the right life. I want you guys to just take the leap. I want you to set a deadline for deciding. No, seriously, give yourself a firm cutoff. Decision making shouldn't be dragged out forever. Pressure can bring clarity, right? I know it can bust pipes, but it can also bring clarity. Clarity. You got to make a decision now. Choose based on your values. But that's another thing, right? That's why you have to have values. That's why you have to know who you are, because that is the reason, the way that you can make a decision that's not based in fear and based in who you really are. This is why you got to know yourself. What decision aligns with the kind of life you really want to live? Choose the one that honors your future self, not your current comfort. Are you guys listening to me? I'm trying to tell you how to move forward. You got to just do it. You got to make the decision based on who you are, not based on your fears, not based on the world, not based on what other people are going to think about you. Start small. Start with little decisions. Some of you are trying to overhaul everything in your life. No, just take a little thing. A little thing. Make one little tiny little jump, right? If it's that one phone call, the one email, commit to one action. One action, one step leads to another step, leads to another step. These small steps, right? They increase momentum, and they increase that feeling inside of you that makes you proud of yourself because you are moving forward. You are doing the damn thing. And it's okay to imagine both the outcomes. It's okay to imagine the pros and cons. But guess what? It's an imagination. You have no idea what the pros and cons are going to be. So even in your imagination, that may not be how it turns out, because there are other series of events going on for everybody else that could also change that for you. Right? But it's okay to picture yourself when you graduate from school. Picture yourself 5 years from now if you act on something, and picture yourself 5 years from now if you don't act on it. The crazy thing is, if you don't act on it, you're just going to be all where you are. Right? Which version of your imagination makes you feel alive? And stop waiting for certainty. Sometimes certainty does not come until you have made the decision, right? It's okay to be 50% confident, 60% confident, 70% confident. Sometimes the confidence is not in the thing that you want to do. Sometimes the confidence got to be in you. Sometimes you can know nothing about a thing, but there is something moving over your body that tells you to do it anyway, because once you get over this hump, the universe will open up for you and you will see things that you have never seen before. Because that's another thing. We are making decisions with the limited information that we have. And the more decisions we make, the greater, the higher the level we go. We get to see more things and have more access to information. And the more information you have, the better decisions you can make, and so on and so on and so on. Trust that you can handle the motherfucking consequences. That's all I got for y'all. Trust that you can handle the consequences. The more decisions you make, the easier it will be when it does not go the way that you plan, because you will recognize that you can make a new decision no matter what. You've survived every decision you've made so far. You can always course correct. Stop being afraid to make decisions. Sometimes, guys, we just got to do it. You just got to say fuck it. You just got to stand 10 toes down in who you are and realize that what do you want? You are here. You might as well live a beautiful life. And when I say to you guys, I hope that you are out in the world living a life, that means that I understand that it comes with ups and downs, pros and cons, good and bad. The balance is the middle. I want you to live a life where you can always get back to yourself, where you can always get back to the middle, where you can always be balanced. That's what I'm talking about. I am not happy every day, all day, but I know how to get back to happy every day. I know how to find the joy that I have created after I have cried, after I have yelled, after I have been disappointed, after I have experienced a complete joy and euphoria, all of the feelings. I want you to feel all of the feelings, because all of the feelings are necessary in order to have a full life. Some of you are like, why is this happening to me? It happens to us all. Learn the goddamn lesson and move on. Get back to your place of happiness and joy. I know this world is crazy and upside down, but I am telling you that you still get to create an experience that is just for you and yourself. Every move you make will cost you something. But what is the cost of doing nothing? I'm tired of talking to you guys. Bye.